Hi guys, it's Sunday evening. It's cooled down a little bit now. We've had an adventure this morning, but we're here now to go through next year's plans. So, go to the greenhouse first and have a look. I think them peas might need some water. It's very quiet up here today. Very quiet. Nice to see that the fleece has held up. And Al's going to go for the potatoes that we dug up yesterday. Right. Oh, chilies look happier today. Oh, spiderweb. Okay. Right then. We've got a plan for next year. Now, what we're going to do is everything in the plot, well, not everything, but a lot of things are moving around so that we can incorporate the second half plot, which I'm looking straight into the sun, I do apologise, with this plot, and it's more conjoined and more of a plan. So, obviously the greenhouse is going to stay where it is, and next year we're having tomatoes across the front. Planted, that will be filled with compost manure, and the tomatoes will be planted through, and then at the back we'll have the racking, and we'll have like chilies, and we'll have some cucumbers in there as well. Okay, here, beetroot and beans. Now you can plant beans in the same place for a few years without there's spiderwebs everywhere, it's horrible. Without having any detrimental effects. So this bed where we put this frame, next year I'm actually going to put climbing beans in here rather than dwarf beans, and then we'll have beetroot on the other side and some nasturtiums on this side. So this year we had beetroot this side and nasturtiums that side. We'll swap it over. So this bed is pretty much staying the same. We'll walk up the plot. So here is this big bed all the way up to the top of the sweet corn and down. And on the end, we're going to do a big row of kale here, and keep it separate from the rest of the brassicas, because the kale seems to be performing better than the other ones in the club root situation. Then this whole bed is going to be main crop potatoes, but we're not growing the majority of them in pots, in the ground like we did this year, because although they did quite well crop-wise, the slug damage just hasn't made it worth it. So we're going to have a lot of pots and then a few in the ground. The earlier potatoes, such as the Arran pilots, seem to do okay in the ground, but they're going to go in a completely separate area. So from here down to, say, where the beans are, that's going to all be main crop potatoes. This weed fest here, the rhubarb and the dwarf apple tree will be planted in here, and that will all be mulched and looked after. And that currant bush is probably one of the only ones that we're going to keep. Family area is going to be tidied up and kept the same. And looking down the middle, Rue's bed is staying there, the swing, and then we have the other raised bed there, and we might put another one just behind it, and that will be for things like salad crops and all that. The flower bed will stay exactly where it is, because it's nice when you're looking out of the shed to have all the flowers there. Portable pots, like the carrots and the flowers, I'm not worried about putting them in a plan as such. Shed and IBCs will stay where they are. And then this bed, so if you look, we've got the flowers, which is the flower bed here. And then we will have, where these beans are now, there will be garlic next year. And we're keeping them away from the other alliums so that we're separating them to see if we can help the allium moth at all. Then we'll have rows of beetroot, a big patch here, so from that plank, that's the word I'm looking for, up to about here, all that of dwarf beans. And they're not the only dwarf beans we're having there, so. And then this bit from the leeks to here, we'll have some onions in here, and then it's going to be a couple of rows of club root resistant sprouts and cabbages, and maybe some broccoli. And obviously the leeks will stay there and then come out later on, and then I don't know, I haven't thought about what I'm putting in after the leeks, but something will go in there. The greenhouse bed here, at the bottom, which is currently weedy at the moment, we was going to start it today, it's just been too hot. This is going to be quite a big pond, maybe a little curved pond, with lots of planting around it, for a wildlife area, and a bug hotel over here. And then along here we'll have all my fruits, so there'll be blueberries and gooseberries and that along here, and then the cold frames at the front of the greenhouse, which keeps the child away from the glass a little bit. The brassica bed, if I turn it over, is this bed here. So on the end here, right across, we'll have a patch of broad beans that are going to overwinter. So they'll be, I think they're aquadolce. And then the majority of the rest of it down to the currant bushes at the end will be squashes. And then in the corner over there we're going to do a patch of a new sweet corn that we found called double red I think it is, which is an eating sweet corn, not one that you grow for popping or anything of that kind. It's actually quite sweet, but it has, the stems are like a dark purple black, and then the actual fruit is red, and when you bite it, it's red. I'm going to call it a vampire sweet corn. We'll do the rest of this plot first. So, as you can see, the plot at the moment, when you look up from the bottom and you look all the way up, it is divided by this slot. These are mostly blackcurrants, with some poorly performing raspberries in there too, and a good dose of bindweed. There is a gooseberry bush down here somewhere, and there is a poorly rhubarb on the end. So all of this is coming out, all of it. We have a big currant bush at the top, we have a little one by the blue stand there, and we may keep one of these, but I really don't use that many blackcurrants, and to be honest, the one at the top that I did a big harvest from gave us plenty for what we need. So these will be passed on for free cycle, communicating with other plot holders what they want, etc. So that's all going. And then all of these raspberries here and all of these raspberries here, or a good selection of them, are going to be used from where the raspberries end on that, right down the edge of that plot. There will be properly divided raspberries so they're easier for harvesting, which will leave this whole area clear. Now this has a big bindweed problem. So the whole plan of digging all this out is we're going to dig everything out and completely bare root it, and then over winter we're going to dig and dig and dig and dig and get as much bindweed of this area out as we can. It's going to be a massive job, isn't it? I think we might be slightly crazy for doing it, but it needs to be done because at the moment this is just completely wasted space. The bindweed is that bad from being underneath these bushes, and we cannot get to the roots, so it's got to come out. And then this end is going to be down here, right along the fence. We're going to have a row of nice flowers. Then from, say, halfway down backwards, there's going to be loads of bean frames, and then down here we have a cucumber frame, some lettuce, parsnips, and we're going to have a squash frame here as well. So this space will be used really nicely, and it's going to be nice to be able to look up the plot and see a productive plot, and it'll feel much bigger rather than being divided by this. Everyone says all they can see of our plot is this, and this is a state, to be honest, and if that's what they think our plot looks like, well, it's not much better up there, is it? But this is a mess, and we know it's a mess, and the committee know what we're doing, and they're happy for us to work with it as it is now. So this brings us to the new half plot, which is going to be our no-dig plot. Now, we've got this old shed, which I don't think I've ever showed you. This was actually put up by a guy that lived opposite us in our house that we lived in a few years back when he had the allotment, when he was younger. And you can't see him, can you? It is horrible in there. I think it was used as a rat's nest at one point. But the problem we've got is that this shed is actually the fence. So we need to get that down, and we might just use the back of the shed and the post and make it into a fence for now until we can finish that off. But what we're going to do and take this down is this IBC here we'll move across, and then we're going to have some flowers as you come in the gate, and then that will be a compost base, and then the other IBC that's over there they can have over on their plot. I'll just move it. It is technically on our side, but we don't need 4 IBCs, that's just silly. So this area will be compost bays and IBC and flowers. So that's sorted and cleaned up. Then down here, first early potatoes. So this whole bed, from here up to, you see that there? Is this camera focusing at all? I can't see if it's focused. I think it is. So there, I'm getting bitten by a horsefly. This will be first early potatoes, keeping them separate from everything else, and the whole bindweed and everything problem on this side of the plot is much better. I think it's been looked after a lot more. So obviously this pond will be moving and made into the bigger pond, and all of these raspberries will be going. We'll be keeping these two trees, sorry. And then what we're doing is, here like where this bench is, have a little archway, maybe out of willow wood or something like that, and a little path that goes through here. If you can imagine it going through the raspberries. And this will all be a big herb patch, because I want to grow a lot more herbs to dry and store. So it'll be a big herb patch with a little rambling path through it and a little bench at the end so you can sit down and smell all the herbs. I think it's important for us to have a big production of herbs. So you can see where the raspberries are end there, up to where they were over there. This will all be a big herb patch with a little seating area in the middle. So that's going to be important for us. These gooseberries here and this rhubarb will all be moved. I might leave the rhubarb because that's productive rhubarb. I don't really want to damage it, the crown. So these rhubarb raspberries and the ones from over there, where the white thing is, if you can imagine them running out in little rows all the way up, so we can get as good a crop as possible, but we can actually access them, because at the moment, as you can see, that's a jungle, and picking raspberries on these plots is a nightmare. So after the herbs, what do we have? This is the no-dig plot, so they will come out about halfway, with a path up the middle, and then going down here we will have a big bed, and that is going to be another load of dwarf beans and some squashes as well over here. So at the moment we have 3 squash plants, 3 squash beds, which I think will do us. Our bean arch will stay exactly where it is, and hopefully be more productive next year. We planted these into the ground, and we literally had to really dig just to make enough space just to get the plant in. So what we're going to do is cut the damn grass first, look at that, but actually dig a trench along here and prepare a proper bean trench along the sides, both sides of this, so that they grow better next year, because we're just getting an awful crop. And they are starting now, but they're so late. It's just not really much at all, and runner beans are important. Here, so if you think the squash bed ends about here, from the bottom of the bean frame to there, with a good amount of dwarf beans in again, and all the raspberries up the back. So here, there will be the 2 frames that I've got. Those A-frames over there with the mesh around them. They are going to go here, and they're going to have peas on them. So we'll have 2 main rows of peas. This back corner, this arch will probably come down and be moved somewhere else. This back corner will be sweet corn, so quite a big patch. And then here, where this bed is, Rue's got a little Wendy house. So she's going to have that here. And it's a plastic thing, it's not a wooden fancy one, it's just plastic from my mum and dad's. They have a little path out, and then a little flower bed with sunflowers and that in front of it to hide it from the main view in case anyone thinks it's garish. I'm conscious that I don't think there's any real other family pots up here, so I don't want them to just be grumpy with anything we do. So that will be this plot. So Wendy house for Rue, squash and bean bed, all those raspberries moved up to the side, big sweet corn patch here, and then where all the raspberries are now, that will be a big herb bed. I mean, a big herb bed. I'll get as many in there as I can. Now this area is pretty much going to be what it is, but more organised. This is going to be a storage area. I'm just going to put up a picket fence across the front to keep Rue out so it's safe. I may remove some of the raspberries that are at the back here because they're very, very nice, very large, lovely raspberries. I may move some of those so that we can actually take the storage area back further. And we need to fix the shed roof so that that guttering goes into the IBC. So that will pretty much stay as it is, but better. But a secure storage area can mean that we don't have to worry about her on the plot so much. Is that it? Have I just talked you around the whole thing already? We're going to do, this tree is coming out right across the path. So we're going to put a post in here and a post in there behind Rue's Wendy house, and we're actually going to put some training wires on it and train, not as an espalier, because obviously it's not an espalier, but train the branches that want to come across this way outwards so that it's clear for the path and we don't have to lop all the branches off the tree every summer. I think that's it, guys. It feels like a more cohesive plan rather than, I think our main priority this year was getting on the plot, clearing it and getting crops in. We're working with what we already had. So now what we want to do is, now we know what we've got, we know what the ground's like, we know what problems we might face, it's important that now we make it ours and we make it work for what we need it to do. So the winter is going to be busy, although we're going to start doing things on the list now, like putting the pond in. I need to pick up the pond liner, and it's going to be hard work, but next year it's going to be much better. And what I also want to do is, these beds have never had a defined edge and this looks so raggedy, and it really bugs me, to be honest. I'm not one for very straight sharp edges or anything of that kind, but I would like it to look more defined, and maybe just run some wood down the edge, not as a raised bed but just as a defined line, so that keeping it in check is easier. So that's it. Oh, what I would like to do is this family area. I want to put some wooden posts in and some stakes and do like a pergola going over here, so that we can grow some plants, maybe some hops or something, so that I can make my own beer. But also, it'll create a little bit of shade for this seating area, because it gets blooming hot, doesn't it? Yep. I mean, at the moment we've got nowhere on this plot that has any shade, and it just gets a bit much. It means that we basically don't come up on days like this because there's nowhere to hide. So, yeah. Do you think the plan's going to work?
I hope so.
Me too. I don't know what's going to happen with the plot next door. If I show you. This half plot is just, it's awfully weedy. The half plot that we've got here was originally that guy's, and then he said, okay, I've got too much on, and he gave it to us, and then he's never been back since end of February. Yeah, he signed up for it in January, gave it, just didn't pay any interest from February. So we originally asked for it, but they said they can't really do anything at the moment. So we've made plans without having that. If we do have that, we've got plans to incorporate it as well, but we need to work without it at the moment. So yeah. It's a mess, but it's our mess, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's our mess. And now if someone could kindly have a word with our sweet corn and tell it to hurry up and ripen, that'd be grand. I've never craved sweet corn so much in my life. Do we need to do any harvesting? Don't think so. Let's have a look at these zucchini beans. Are they going to amount to absolutely anything? They have these random little pods on, but they've been there for a while now and nothing else has happened. I don't think they're going to do anything, you know. I'm quite disappointed, but what can you do? What can you do? So, okay. Is there anything to harvest? I can see a few beans over there. Ah, these are all babies still. Oh no, actually. I might take a few. Always best to check, because we won't be back for a few days, so I'm going to take a few things. Oh, hang on, I know what I was going to do. Right, take this. Sorry, I'm in your shadow. Okay, robotic allotment gardener, Terry. You've just done a parsnip reveal I watched just before I left the house. Should we do one? I've not got gloves. You have to be careful because the sap from parsnips reacts with UV and it can cause the skin to blister. So, should we take the one right at the end? Or should we hunt for one that's a bit bigger? Let's go for this one right at the end, it might be easier. Now, apparently, I've never grown big parsnips before, I've only ever grown like little baby ones. So, apparently, the thing that you do, oh come on, he's got a glove for me, that'll do, is you push the parsnip down and then twist and pull up. It's a left hand glove and it's for real size hands, not child baby hands. Look at this. Okay, so let's give it a go. First parsnip, and I know they're not ready until all the frost and everything like that, but I'm impatient and I want to see what they're doing under there. I'm imagining they're going to be straight for a little bit and then boom out somewhere and have all sorts of random stuff in it. Oh, I think we need the fork. Look, parsnip. It looks promising, guys. How much luck I'm going to have getting this out. Oh, man. Oh, I don't want to stab it. Come on. How do you get parsnips out? My word. Right, big fork. The dirt's just moving around it. Go. Now this is really clayey soil. I did, with my whirligig thing that I've got, you put the soil in then build the spinner. I did sift this area, but not that deep. It's not that easy after all, is it? At least the soil's quite damp because of all the rain we've had, so it is quite soft and easy to work with. I'm shaking trying to pull it up. All this effort for one flipping parsnip that's not technically even ready yet. Parsnip. It's not huge at all, nothing compared to what Terry King has just pulled up. But that is my first ever proper parsnip. It won't focus. It's my birthday in October, dude. I want a decent camera. It's not a decent camera. Come on. There you go. Parsnip. Huh? Oh, I wish you could smell it as well. It smells delicious. It's on camera setting.
Just have to press the thing to focus it.
Right. One parsnip. There's a problem with pressing the thing to focus it when you're holding a parsnip in one hand and the camera in the other. It won't focus.
I'm holding it wrong.
Right. I'm not holding it wrong. We will leave you with our little lover's tiff. One parsnip, ready to take home. And I will see you all soon. Please subscribe, follow our channel, and give us a thumbs up, comment below. Let us know what you think of our New Year's plans. And I'll see you soon. I know one thing for sure next year. I won't be growing so many chilies. See you soon. We have parsnips. So, there's a boat going past now. Bottom one is from here, from home in this raised bed. And the top one is from the plot. So, they look pretty much identical. Sorry. I'm really pleased. We're going to leave the rest in now until winter, and then we'll harvest them when we need them. But for now, we has parsnips, which is great. Okay, thanks for watching. See you soon.